People who have stronger legs live longer than everybody else. Isn't that interesting? Because there's a part of the leg, the thigh muscles, that is the largest muscle group in the human body. It is critically important, and one of its main functions is balance and stability. And with balance and stability, you have strong legs. And strong legs give you the ability to move independently without assistance or mobility aids. They help you prevent dangerous falls that lead to hip fractures and hospitalization. Strong legs maintain your freedom to shop, travel, and visit loved ones. They support your entire body weight when standing, walking, or climbing stairs. They protect your joints by absorbing shock and reducing stress on your knees and hips. Strong legs also boost your metabolism because larger muscles burn more calories even at rest, and they improve your circulation by pumping blood back up to your heart efficiently. This is why I teach my patients to prioritize strong legs as they're getting older. And what's the number one nutrient for building strong legs? Calcium. Calcium is the number one mineral for building strong bones that support those powerful leg muscles. But here's what many seniors don't know. You can get calcium from other healthy food sources apart from calcium pills. Now, don't get me wrong, calcium supplements have their place, but here's the downside of relying only on calcium pills for building strong legs. Your body can only absorb about 500 milligrams at once, so anything more is simply wasted. Pills also lack the cofactors like vitamin D, K2, and magnesium that food naturally provides together. Without these partners, calcium may actually deposit in your arteries instead of your bones, potentially increasing your heart disease risk. Supplements can cause constipation, bloating, and digestive discomfort, which is especially common in seniors. Pills bypass the natural digestive process that helps your body recognize and use calcium efficiently. And many seniors take medications that interact dangerously with calcium supplements, which we'll cover in just a moment. This is why in this video, I will tell you 2 safe food sources that have 8 times more calcium than calcium pills, and they're healthier, natural, and come with all the nutrients your body needs to actually use that calcium. I will also tell you 3 medications to never mix with calcium supplements, because this combination becomes toxic to your body and causes serious adverse effects. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, tell us, where are you watching from? Let us know in the comments and subscribe right away. Let us start. Number 1. Eggshells. I know this sounds very shocking. How is this even possible? Do people even eat eggshells? Yes, they do, and for good reason. Eggshells contain 94 to 99% pure calcium carbonate, and they have small amounts of magnesium and phosphorus that are good for building strong legs, and this is something you will hardly find in most calcium pills. And that's not even all of it. Eggshells are very rich in proteins like collagen and hyaluronic acid that are excellent for joint health. Now, let me explain what happens when an adult eats eggshells and how this works in the body to build strong legs in seniors and adults. When you consume properly prepared eggshell powder, your digestive system breaks down the calcium carbonate into elemental calcium your body can absorb. This calcium then travels through your bloodstream to your bones, where it gets deposited into your bone matrix, making your bones denser and stronger. The magnesium and phosphorus work alongside the calcium to improve bone mineral density, which is the measure of how strong and solid your bones are. The collagen and hyaluronic acid support your cartilage and connective tissues in your knees, hips, and ankles, keeping your joints cushioned and flexible. As your bones become stronger and your joints stay healthy, your thigh muscles have a solid foundation to work from. This means you can walk longer, stand more confidently, and maintain balance without pain or weakness. Strong bones plus healthy joints plus nourished muscles equals powerful legs that keep you independent and active well into your golden years. An adult needs 800 to 300 milligrams of calcium daily to build strong legs. Here's what's remarkable. A single tablespoon of eggshell powder provides 800 to 1,000 milligrams of calcium from just 1 spoon. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Densitometry found that eggshell powder supplementation significantly improved bone mineral density in postmenopausal women with osteoporosis. And it was as effective as commercial calcium supplements, but with better absorption rates because of the natural mineral matrix. Here is how to prepare eggshell powder safely, because this is absolutely critical. You must prepare it correctly to eat it safely. If you don't sterilize the shells properly, you risk salmonella poisoning, which causes severe diarrhea, vomiting, fever, and dehydration that can be life-threatening for seniors. If you don't grind the shells into a fine powder, the sharp edges can irritate or even cut your throat and digestive tract. And if you consume unwashed shells, you expose yourself to bacteria, pesticides, and other contaminants. Here's how to prepare eggshell powder safely. First, collect clean eggshells from eggs you've already used and rinse them thoroughly under running water to remove any egg whites or residue. Next, place the shells in a pot of boiling water and boil them for 10 minutes to kill all bacteria and pathogens. After boiling, drain the water and spread the shells on a baking sheet. Then bake them in your oven at 200 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 minutes until they're completely dry and slightly brittle. Once cooled, use a coffee grinder, spice grinder, or mortar and pestle to grind the shells into an extremely fine powder. It should feel like flour between your fingers with no gritty pieces. Store your powder in an airtight glass container in a cool, dry place, and it will last for several months. Now, let me give you 3 recipes on how to include this shell powder in your meals throughout the day. For breakfast, make a creamy oatmeal by cooking your oats as usual. Then stirring in half a teaspoon of eggshell powder along with cinnamon, honey, and sliced bananas. The powder dissolves completely and you won't even taste it. For lunch, prepare a hearty vegetable soup by simmering your favorite vegetables in broth, and just before serving, whisk in half a teaspoon of eggshell powder into each bowl. It blends seamlessly into the liquid. For dinner, create a delicious pasta sauce by cooking tomatoes, garlic, and herbs, then stirring in half a teaspoon of powder per serving as the sauce simmers. The acidity of the tomatoes actually helps your body absorb the calcium even better. Now, here's one very important way to maximize the benefits of your eggshell powder. Include vitamin D in your diet at the same time. You see, calcium and vitamin D work together in perfect synergy. Vitamin D acts like a key that unlocks your intestine's ability to absorb calcium. Without enough vitamin D, your body can only absorb about 10 to 15% of the calcium you consume, which means most of that precious eggshell powder goes to waste. But when you have adequate vitamin D, your absorption rate jumps to 30 to 40% or even higher. Vitamin D also tells your bones when to grab onto the calcium floating in your bloodstream and incorporate it into your bone structure. It's like having a construction manager at a building site. The calcium is the brick, but vitamin D is the foreman directing where each brick should go. Here are 2 delicious juice recipes that deliver vitamin D along with your calcium. First, make a fortified orange sunshine smoothie by blending fresh orange juice with a handful of spinach, half a banana, a quarter teaspoon of eggshell powder, and a splash of vitamin D fortified milk or fortified plant milk. The vitamin C in the orange actually helps calcium absorption even more. Second, create a tropical morning boost by blending fortified orange juice with frozen mango chunks, a tablespoon of ground flaxseed, a quarter teaspoon of eggshell powder, and fortified yogurt, which naturally contains both calcium and vitamin D together. Beyond juices, there are other wonderful ways to get your vitamin D. Go out for morning walks between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. when the sun is strongest. Just 15 to 20 minutes of sunlight on your arms and legs triggers your skin to produce natural vitamin D. Eat fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, or sardines 2 to 3 times per week, as these are among the richest natural food sources of vitamin D. Include egg yolks in your breakfast because the yolk contains small amounts of vitamin D, along with other nutrients that support bone health. And consider fortified foods like cereals, milk, plant-based milks, and orange juice that have vitamin D added during processing, specifically to help people meet their daily needs. If eggshells do not sound like a calcium source for you, do not worry. I will tell you a second source shortly, and this is such a great way to get calcium without swallowing pills. And remember, I said I would tell you about 3 medications you might currently be taking with calcium pills that are not good for your health. I will tell you about those toxic combinations in just a minute, so stay with me. Number 2. Bone meal. Now, before you think this sounds strange, let me tell you why bone meal has been used for centuries in traditional medicine across Asia, Europe, and Latin America for strengthening bones and preventing fractures. Bone meal is essentially ground up animal bones, usually from cattle, that have been processed into a fine powder. What makes bone meal extraordinary is its composition. It contains 24 to 30% elemental calcium in the form of calcium phosphate, which is the exact same mineral compound that makes up your own bones. It also contains phosphorus in a perfect ratio with calcium, typically 2 parts calcium to 1 part phosphorus, which is precisely the ratio your body needs for optimal bone formation. Additionally, bone meal provides trace minerals like zinc, copper, manganese, and boron that play supporting roles in bone metabolism and leg strength. Remember, an adult needs 800 to 1,300 milligrams of calcium daily for strong legs. 1 tablespoon of bone meal powder delivers approximately 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams of highly absorbable calcium. A research study published in the British Journal of Nutrition compared bone meal supplementation to calcium carbonate in elderly participants and found that bone meal produced superior improvements in hip bone density over 12 months, likely due to the presence of phosphorus and trace minerals that calcium carbonate lacks. But here's the critical part you must understand. Not all bone meal is safe for human consumption, and choosing the wrong type could poison you. Agricultural bone meal sold in garden stores for fertilizing plants contains high levels of lead, cadmium, and other heavy metals that accumulate in animal bones from environmental exposure and feed contamination. Consuming this type of bone meal even once can cause heavy metal poisoning, with symptoms like severe abdominal pain, kidney damage, neurological problems, and in extreme cases, organ failure. Bone meal from unknown sources may also carry the risk of infectious diseases, including prions that cause conditions similar to mad cow disease. Low-quality bone meal isn't tested for purity and may contain bone fragments that are too coarse, creating choking hazards or intestinal blockages. This is why you must only purchase pharmaceutical-grade bone meal specifically labeled for human consumption. Check that the label specifies heavy metal tested or free from lead, mercury, and cadmium, because this ensures toxic contaminants are below dangerous levels. Buy from reputable health food stores or established supplement companies with transparent manufacturing practices, and avoid purchasing bone meal from garden centers, agricultural suppliers, or unverified online sellers. Now let me share 3 ways to incorporate pharmaceutical-grade bone meal into your daily meals. For breakfast, prepare protein-packed pancakes by mixing your regular pancake batter and stirring in half a teaspoon of bone meal powder per serving before cooking. The powder is tasteless and blends invisibly into the batter, giving you a calcium boost with every bite. For lunch, make a nutrient-dense smoothie bowl by blending frozen berries, banana, Greek yogurt, and a teaspoon of bone meal powder until thick and creamy. Then pour it into a bowl and top with granola, nuts, and fresh fruit. The thick consistency masks any texture from the powder. For dinner, create calcium-fortified meatballs or veggie burgers by mixing half a teaspoon of bone meal per serving directly into your ground meat or mashed bean mixture before forming and cooking. Once cooked, no one will detect it, but your bones will thank you. Now here's something fascinating about bone meal that makes it even more powerful. It works best when combined with vitamin K2, not just vitamin D. While most people know about calcium and vitamin D, vitamin K2 is the forgotten nutrient that determines whether calcium ends up in your bones or your arteries. Think of it this way: vitamin D is like the delivery truck that brings calcium into your bloodstream, but vitamin K2 is the GPS system that directs exactly where that calcium should be deposited. Vitamin K2 activates a protein called osteocalcin that binds calcium to your bone matrix, essentially gluing the calcium into your bones where it belongs. At the same time, K2 activates another protein called matrix GLA that prevents calcium from depositing in your blood vessels, protecting you from arterial calcification and heart disease. Without adequate vitamin K2, the calcium from your bone meal could actually do more harm than good by accumulating in soft tissues instead of strengthening your skeleton. Here are 2 delicious ways to get vitamin K2 through fermented foods. First, try a simple natto rice bowl, which is a traditional Japanese breakfast. Natto is fermented soybeans with an incredibly high K2 content. Simply serve warm rice topped with natto, a drizzle of soy sauce, chopped green onions, and a raw egg yolk if you like. Then mix everything together and eat. One serving provides more K2 than most people get in an entire week. Second, make a probiotic-rich sauerkraut salad by tossing together fresh greens, shredded carrots, sliced cucumbers, and a generous serving of naturally fermented sauerkraut. Not the shelf-stable kind, but the refrigerated type from the health food store. Then dress it with olive oil and lemon juice for a tangy, crunchy side dish packed with K2. Beyond fermented foods, you can get vitamin K2 from other excellent sources. Eat grass-fed butter or ghee daily, because animals raised on pasture produce dairy products much higher in K2 than grain-fed animals. Include aged cheeses like Gouda, Edam, and Brie in your diet, as the aging process allows bacteria to produce high concentrations of K2. Choose pasture-raised eggs over conventional eggs because the yolks from pastured hens contain significantly more K2 along with other fat-soluble vitamins. And consider liver from grass-fed animals once or twice a month, as organ meats are among the most concentrated sources of K2 available. If these foods aren't accessible or appealing, a K2 supplement in the MK7 form is highly effective and widely available. But building strong bones and legs is far beyond making sure you take your calcium. You also should know that some medications react badly with calcium pills, and you should always consult your doctor for medical advice before making any changes. The first medication, blood pressure medication. If you're taking calcium channel blockers, combining these with high-dose calcium supplements creates a dangerous contradiction in your body. These medications work by blocking calcium from entering your blood vessel walls, which helps your vessels relax and lowers your blood pressure. But when you take large calcium supplements at the same time, you flood your bloodstream with extra calcium that can overwhelm the medication's effect. This excess calcium pushes into those same blood vessel cells your medication is trying to protect, causing your vessels to constrict again. Your blood pressure medication becomes less effective, your pressure can spike dangerously, and you risk irregular heartbeats, chest pain, or even heart attack. Here's a natural alternative. Get your calcium from food throughout the day in smaller, natural doses instead of concentrated pills. Focus on leafy greens like collard greens and kale, which provide calcium plus potassium and magnesium that naturally lower blood pressure. Include dairy or fortified plant milks with meals rather than large supplement doses. Take your blood pressure medication at a consistent time, preferably morning, and space calcium-rich foods at least 4 hours away. A study in the American Journal of Hypertension followed 1,500 adults taking calcium channel blockers. Those taking calcium supplements over 1,000 milligrams daily had 35% higher treatment failure rates. Those getting calcium from food had better blood pressure control and fewer side effects. My patient Dorothy, who is 72, experienced this firsthand. She took amlodipine for years, but after starting high-dose calcium supplements, her blood pressure kept rising despite medication increases. She suffered headaches, dizziness, and frightening heart palpitations. We stopped her supplements and switched to food sources, smoothies with fortified milk and kale, yogurt at lunch, leafy greens at dinner. Within 6 weeks, her blood pressure stabilized, symptoms vanished, and her bone density actually improved 1 year later. Here's your 350-word script for thyroid medication. The second medication, thyroid medication. If you're taking any thyroid hormone replacement for hypothyroidism, taking calcium supplements at the same time is sabotaging your treatment without you even realizing it. Here's what happens in your body. Thyroid medication contains delicate hormones that need to be absorbed in your small intestine to enter your bloodstream and reach every cell in your body. But calcium is a powerful binding agent that attaches to thyroid hormones in your stomach and intestines, forming clumps that your body cannot absorb. When calcium binds to your thyroid medication, up to 50% of that dose gets trapped and passes straight through your digestive system, unused. This means you're essentially wasting half your medication, leaving you with symptoms of underactive thyroid, like extreme fatigue, unexplained weight gain, depression, brain fog, hair loss, and constant feeling cold, even though you're faithfully taking your pills every single day. The healthy alternative is simple but requires discipline with timing. Take your thyroid medication first thing in the morning on a completely empty stomach with only plain water. Then wait at least 4 full hours before consuming any calcium from supplements or calcium-rich foods. This gives your thyroid hormone adequate time to be fully absorbed before calcium enters your system. Get your calcium from food sources later in the day at lunch and dinner when the medication timing conflict doesn't exist. If you must take calcium supplements, schedule them for afternoon or evening, well separated from your morning thyroid dose. Research published in Thyroid Journal examined patients taking levothyroxine who also consumed calcium supplements. Those taking both within 2 hours experienced significantly elevated TSH levels, indicating their thyroid medication wasn't working properly. When the same patients separated calcium by 4 hours, their thyroid function normalized completely without any dose changes. My patient James, 68, struggled with crushing fatigue for 2 years despite taking thyroid medication. His doctor kept increasing his dose, but nothing helped. When I discovered he took calcium supplements with breakfast right after his thyroid pill, we immediately changed the timing. Within 3 weeks, James had energy again. Within 2 months, his thyroid levels were perfect, and his doctor actually reduced his medication dose. James told me he felt like he'd gotten his life back, all from a simple timing adjustment. The third medication, antibiotics. If your doctor prescribes antibiotics for an infection, taking calcium supplements at the same time can turn a simple infection into a life-threatening situation. Here's why this is so dangerous. Calcium forms incredibly strong chemical bonds with certain antibiotics in your stomach, creating insoluble complexes that your body cannot break apart or absorb. When calcium binds to these antibiotics, up to 90% of your antibiotic dose becomes trapped and useless, passing through your system without fighting the infection. This means the bacteria causing your pneumonia, urinary tract infection, or skin infection continue multiplying unchecked because the antibiotic never reaches your bloodstream. Your infection worsens, potentially spreading to your blood or vital organs, requiring hospitalization, intravenous antibiotics, or in severe cases leading to sepsis, which can be fatal, especially in older adults. The safe approach is absolutely critical during antibiotic treatment. Take your antibiotics at least 2 hours before any calcium supplements or calcium-rich foods, or wait at least 2 hours after calcium to take your antibiotic dose. Read your antibiotic prescription label carefully and follow the pharmacist's timing instructions exactly. Avoid all dairy products, fortified juices, calcium supplements, and antacids during the hours surrounding your antibiotic doses. Once your antibiotic course is finished, you can safely resume your normal calcium routine. A study in the Journal of Antimicrobial Chemotherapy tested blood levels of ciprofloxacin in patients who took it with calcium versus alone. Those taking calcium had antibiotic blood levels so low they were essentially untreated, while those avoiding calcium had therapeutic levels that effectively killed bacteria. The researchers warned that this interaction directly contributes to treatment failure and antibiotic resistance. My patient Barbara, 75, was prescribed antibiotics for a stubborn respiratory infection, but continued taking her calcium supplements with every meal out of habit. After 10 days, her infection hadn't improved at all. When I reviewed her routine, we immediately separated the timing. Her doctor prescribed a fresh antibiotic course with proper spacing, and within 4 days, Barbara's fever broke and her breathing improved dramatically. She learned that timing truly can mean the difference between healing and harm. So here's my question for you. Which of these 3 medication interactions were you unaware of, and are you currently taking calcium supplements with any of these medications? Drop your answer in the comments below. I'd love to know if this video just solved a problem you didn't even know you had. Now, If you're serious about building strong legs and getting calcium the natural, safe way without dangerous pill interactions, I've created 2 comprehensive ebooks specifically for seniors like you. The first is 93 plus high protein recipes to beat sarcopenia and build strong legs even at 85. These aren't just protein recipes. Many include the calcium-rich foods we discussed today, strategically combined to maximize absorption and leg strength. The second ebook is 75 plus recipes to build strong legs and kill weak legs, containing meals packed with calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, and vitamin K2 that work together to build bones so strong they'll support you for decades to come. These aren't random recipes. They're designed by someone who spent over 30 years caring for seniors, addressing the exact nutritional gaps that lead to weak legs, dangerous falls, and devastating fractures. Tomorrow's video is dropping, and you absolutely cannot miss it. I'll be revealing the 3 foods seniors eat daily that are secretly stealing calcium from your bones, even if you're doing everything else right. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button right now so you do not miss out, as my subscribers